What I'm about to share with you, it's quite an extreme story, but I think it beautifully illustrates how often when we're angry, it's to do with unacknowledged and unexpressed anger from the past. And yeah, this is quite an extreme example. I had the honour to work with a man many years ago now, and we just had 6 sessions together, and he'd never experienced any kind of therapy before, and he was homeless at the time, and he was actually sent to me for these 6 sessions. And the reason he'd been sent to me was he kept getting in an angry situation and out in the streets of London, and inevitably the police would get called and he would get thrown into prison. So he often, at least once a week, would spend a night in jail. So he came to me, and I remember the first session, we were sitting there opposite each other, and he was covered in tattoos, back when it wasn't that fashionable to have them. So we spoke about things, and this man had really had many tragic situations before him. He wasn't respected. He wasn't really cared for by his family, and he had a partner now, and it kind of mirrored this early life for him. She had a 17-year-old son, and she would kind of take his side, and he basically, he just wasn't respected. And he told me some pretty tragic stories of what happened to him. But anyway, we didn't have that much time together. We had the 6 sessions. So I asked him to give me an example of one of these situations where he had ended up in prison. And we've been speaking a bit about anger, and I was saying how anger needed to be contained. So whenever he found himself in an angry situation, he was to get himself home, to not speak to anyone, to not drink any alcohol. That was what he would do to try and regulate himself, and to numb some of this terrible pain that he was feeling, that he couldn't find ways to express. So anyway, he tells me this story. And also, actually, we've been speaking about appropriate levels of anger for a situation. So he's angry in a current situation, and there's an appropriate level of anger, or there's a incredibly explosive level of anger that is clearly not to do with the present situation. It's to do with something in the past. So the story goes like this. He was going to get on a bus. It was a rainy afternoon in London, and he failed to notice that the bus was terminating at the next stop. He only had £1 on him, so he got on the bus. He gave the guy £1, and next stop, the bus terminates, and he's angry. And he's angry mainly because he feels disempowered. He doesn't have any more money. He goes up to the bus driver, and they end up in an argument, and he punches the bus driver, and he ends up in prison. So I say to him, brilliant example. This is really great. So let's look at this, shall we? So he says, yeah. I say, great. So I take him through the whole scene, and I even say to him what I would have said to the bus driver. So I said, okay, I really want you to think, did the bus driver deserve a smack? I want you to really think back through what we've discussed and everything. So he said, okay. I said, really think about it before you answer. So he says, okay. So he's sitting there like this. Well, I don't know, Kim. Yeah, I'm not sure. I said, come on, did the bus driver deserve a smack? And he said, yes. I said, no, he didn't. He's just a bus driver doing his job. But it beautifully illustrates how things get bound up, and he couldn't see past something else. So I just wanted to share that with you today. And yeah, thanks for watching.